Hello, welcome to week 9. This is our last week of quarter 3 for semester 2, and it's also our last week before we transition to hybrid learning. And this week is also very strange because we are only having one synchronous day and one asynchronous day for this week. So it's going to be kind of cut in half. It's going to be pretty simple. I'm pretty excited about what we're going to do today for our synchronous day. And as always, if you're watching this video, it's because you were absent on that day, but it's going to be fun. So let me show you what we're doing today. So like I said, we're transitioning into hybrid learning. You are almost done with quarter 3, which means we are roughly 10 weeks away from summertime. So summer vacation. So we're going to make the best of it. This is going to be awesome. I am determined to make this next quarter as amazing as it can be with all the new transitions that we're going to be going through. So let me show you for this week what we're going to do to wrap up quarter 3. So the only thing I need you to turn in today, by the end of this video, by the end of the call today, is week 9 Google Slides. Super simple. We're going to be able to accomplish everything during the call. So if you're watching this and you were absent that day, after watching the video, you should be able to submit it and be done. There's no asynchronous work because there's just nothing more to do. We're wrapping up. So, and also, like I just said, reminder, there's no class Thursday or Friday. No, there's only one synchronous day this week. So to wrap up our poetry unit, I want you to reflect on these 3 prompts. I want you to write down 3 things that you learned during this unit, 2 things that you either loved or found interesting, just kind of stood out to you, and then something that you're still curious about or a question that you may have. Because like I said at the very beginning, this quarter was very weird. The whole year has been strange, and so we haven't really been able to dive in like I would hope to. But we did cover a lot of really great stuff, a lot of fundamental things to poetry. So take a moment, pause this video, respond to these 3 prompts. Tell me what you learned, what you loved, and something you're curious about, and then we'll keep going. Okay, so now that we're wrapping up our poetry unit, we're going to make these 2 questions our bridge to the next quarter and to the next unit. We will be doing a nonfiction unit, and I want you to answer these questions because these are questions we're going to kind of explore in quarter 4 when we're back in the building. So I want you to tell me, how does culture and society shape and or reflect our identity? How is our identity kind of created? What does it look like? And how is it influenced by the culture that we live in, the society that we're in? So respond to that question. The second one, how can you think about this. This might not be true for you specifically, but just in a hypothetical, how can you form your identity while growing up in a society that does not recognize you? It doesn't acknowledge your existence. What would you say to that question? So go ahead, take a minute, pause this video, and respond to those 2 questions. Okay, so the very last thing I want to do today is our first chapter Friday, or technically this week it would be either first chapter Tuesday or first chapter Wednesday. But this has to be one of my absolute favorite books, young adult books. It's amazing. This is called Bomb: The Race to Build and Steal the World's Most Dangerous Weapon by Steve Sheinkin. And if you are a fan of history in general, specifically World War II history, you will absolutely love this book. So here are some pictures from the inside, just a few chapters. There's more pictures than this, but I'm going to read to you just the first chapter. It's like 2 pages long, just to give you a really good idea of what this story is all about. So if you are familiar with World War II history, the bomb in this story that they're talking about is the atomic bomb, and this is what essentially ended World War II. And during this time in the 40s, the early or late 30s, the atomic bomb was a total breakthrough in science. There was no possible way to conceive this or understand this idea prior to this time. It was groundbreaking science, and it impacted the world for decades to come because of how it influenced the ending of the war. So let me give you a quick sneak peek as to what this book's all about. I'm going to read you the prologue. Prologue, May 22nd, 1950. He had a few more minutes to destroy 17 years of evidence. Still in pajamas, Harry Gold raced around his cluttered bedroom, pulling out desk drawers, tossing boxes out of the closet, and yanking books from the shelves. He was horrified. Everywhere he looked were incriminating papers, a plane ticket stub, a secret report, a letter from a fellow spy. Gold ripped the papers to shreds, carried 2 fistfuls to the bathroom, shoved them into the toilet, and flushed. Then he ran back to his bedroom, grabbed the rest of the pile, and stumbled on slippers down the stairs to the cellar, where he pushed the stuff to the bottom of an overflowing garbage can. The doorbell rang. Gold walked to the door. He took a few deep breaths, trying to slow his heartbeat, then opened the door and saw the men he expected. Federal Bureau of Investigation agents Scott Miller and Richard Brennan. They had been questioning Gold for days, showing him pictures of known spies, demanding information about his connection to these people. Gold had admitted nothing, insisting he was what he appeared to be, a simple, hard-working chemist who lived with his father and brother, and had never been far from his Philadelphia home. Unconvinced, the FBI agents had come to search his house. Gold led the way to his room. Agent Miller sat down at Gold's desk and started opening drawers, sifting through paper piles. Brennan went to work on the sagging bookshelves packed tight with math and science volumes and stacks of paperback novels. Brennan flipped through a paperback, stopping to inspect something stamped on the inside cover, the name of a department store in Rochester, New York. "What's this?" he asked Gold, holding up the open book. "Oh, I don't know," Gold said. "You must have picked it up on a used book counter somewhere, Lord knows where." Then, from a desk drawer, Miller pulled a train schedule for the Washington, Philadelphia, New York, Boston passenger line. Another clue that Gold wasn't the homebody he'd described. "What's this, Harry?" Miller asked. "Goodness knows," Gold said, shrugging. "I probably picked it up when I went to New York." "This is bad," he said to himself. "Bad, but not terrible." Then came the body blow. Gold watched Brennan slide a thick, tattered copy of Principles of Chemical Engineering from the shelf. Nausea swelled Gold's throat as he saw a light brown, folded street map drop to the floor. To Gold, the map seemed to scream its title in the silent room. New Mexico, Land of Enchantment. "Oh God," he thought. "So you were never west of the Mississippi?" said Brennan, bending down to lift the map. He opened it and saw, at the spot in Santa Fe where the Castillo Street Bridge crosses the Santa Fe River, an X marked in ink. "How about this, Harry?" demanded Brennan. Miller spun from the desk, stood, and watched Gold. Gold needed to speak quickly, needed to offer an explanation, but he froze. "Give me a minute," he managed, falling heavily into his desk chair. Brennan offered him a cigarette, which he took. Brennan lit it, and Gold drew deeply. "A torrent of thoughts poured through my mind," Gold said later this moment. The map could easily be explained. He'd just say he loved Western stories, which was true, and that out of curiosity, he had sent to a Santa Fe museum for the map. Surely they didn't keep records of such requests. No one could prove he was lying. But then he thought about what would happen if he continued claiming innocence. My family, people with whom I worked, and my friends whom I knew, my lifetime friends, they would all rally around me. And how horrible would their disappointment be and the letdown when it finally is shown who I really was. Harry Gold had been living a double life for 17 years. Overwhelmed by exhaustion, he turned to the FBI agents. They were still waiting for an answer. "Yes, I am the man," Gold said. He slumped a little lower in his chair. "There is a great deal more to the story. It goes way back," he said. "I would like to tell it all." So that was the prologue to Bomb by Steve Sheinkin. So fascinating. I think the best way that I can describe this book is that when you're reading it, you feel like you're watching a movie. It is so fantastic. The writing is amazing. The story is just incredible, and it's true. It's all based on true events. It's nonfiction, so that means it's a real true story. So that is our first chapter Friday. The last thing for you, just remember, you're done now. Submit these slides to me by the end of the day today. You're viewing this video. And remember that we are transitioning into hybrid next week. So be prepared for that. If you have any questions at all, please email me, let me know. Email your counselor. I would love to help you. And I cannot wait to see you in person.